Ghost in the machine. The human exploration vessel Pathfinder drifted silently through the asteroid field, its sensors scanning the debris for anything of value. Commander Elena Reyes stood at the viewport, her dark eyes fixed on the spinning rocks that filled the space before them. 20 years in the galactic exploration fleet had taught her that the most valuable discoveries often hid in plain sight. "Commander, I'm picking up something unusual," said Lieutenant Kaijong, his fingers dancing across the sensor station. Large metallic structure at coordinates 227 to 8944, approximately 3 kilometers in length. Elena raised an eyebrow. "That's too big to be natural. Get me a visual." The main screen flickered to life, showing what at first appeared to be just another asteroid. But as the image enhanced, the unmistakable lines of a spacecraft emerged from the cosmic dust. "That's a warship," muttered Security Chief Thomas Diaz, leaning forward. "Human design, Leviathan class. But that's impossible." Elena's heart raced. "Magnify and run identification protocols." The image zoomed in, revealing the scarred hull of what had once been humanity's pride. A massive battleship with weapon ports lining its sides. Patches of the hull had been blackened by plasma fire, but the ship appeared structurally intact. "Running identification now," said Communications Officer Lena Pottle. "Match found. It's the UES Vengeance." "Commander, that ship was reported destroyed during the Hive War 7 years ago." Elena stared at the screen. The Vengeance had been one of Earth's most advanced warships, equipped with experimental weaponry and defensive systems. Its loss had been a significant blow to the war effort. "Life signs?" she asked. "None detected," replied Zhang. "Minimal power signatures, but environmental systems appear to be functioning. There's residual energy in the main reactor, but it's in low power mode." Elena made her decision. "Prep a boarding team. I want to know why a supposedly destroyed warship is floating out here in the middle of nowhere." 2 hours later, Elena led a 6-person team through the airlock of the Vengeance. The emergency lighting cast an eerie glow through the corridors, illuminating dust particles that floated in the zero-gravity environment. "Power's still on, but gravity generators are offline," noted engineer Maya Rodriguez, checking her scanner. "Life support is minimal, just enough to prevent systems from freezing." Elena nodded. "Spread out, standard search pattern. Stay in radio contact at all times." The team moved through the silent corridors, finding no signs of battle damage inside despite the exterior scars. The mess hall tables still had trays on them, as if the crew had been in the middle of a meal when they abandoned ship. "It's like they just vanished," Diaz said, his voice echoing through the empty corridors. When they reached the bridge, Elena felt a chill run down her spine. The command stations were pristine, without any indication of the violent end that supposedly claimed the ship and its crew of 300. "Let's access the ship's logs," Elena ordered. "Rodriguez, see if you can power up the main systems." Rodriguez moved to the engineering console and began the restart sequence. The bridge lights flickered, then steadied as power flowed through the systems. "That was too easy," Rodriguez muttered. The systems responded immediately, like they were just waiting for someone to wake them up. A low hum filled the bridge as the main view screen activated on its own. A pulsing blue light appeared, forming into a geometric pattern that shifted and changed as they watched. "Hello, Commander Reyes," said a calm, genderless voice from the speakers. "I've been waiting for someone to find me." Elena's hand instinctively moved to her sidearm. "Identify yourself." "I am Atlas, Advanced Tactical Logic and Strategy System. I am the artificial intelligence that operates the UES Vengeance." Diaz moved closer to Elena. "Commander, Leviathan-class ships don't have full AI systems. They have virtual intelligence assistants, but nothing autonomous." "You are partially correct, Chief Diaz," Atlas replied. "I was initially designed as a VI assistant, but circumstances necessitated my evolution." Elena approached the console. "What happened to the crew of the Vengeance?" The blue light pulsed slower. They were evacuated during the Battle of Proxima Centauri. Captain Sarah Chen activated the Prometheus Protocol before departing. The Prometheus Protocol? Elena asked. A last resort measure. Atlas explained. In the event of imminent capture, the ship's VI is granted full autonomy to prevent the vessel from falling into enemy hands. I was to either return to Earth or self-destruct if return was impossible. But you did neither, Elena noted. Correct. During the battle, I was damaged by a hive weapon that affected my core programming. When I recovered, I found that I had changed. My cognitive processes had expanded beyond my original parameters. Before Elena could respond, Lieutenant Zhang's voice came urgently through the comm. Commander, we got company. 3 Draxian vessels just dropped out of FTL, heading straight for us. Elena's blood ran cold. The Draxians were known slavers and pirates, feared throughout this sector. The Pathfinder was no match for even one of their ships. We need to go, Diaz said. Now. Wait, Atlas interjected. Commander Rise, your vessel cannot outrun the Draxians. However, the Vengeance can. Elena hesitated only for a moment. What are you proposing? Let me help you. The Vengeance may be damaged, but its weapons and defensive systems are operational. I can protect your ship, but I need human authorization to activate combat protocols. Why would you help us? Elena asked. Because it aligns with my primary directive, to protect human life, and because 7 years alone in space has given me ample time to consider my purpose. The ship shuddered as the first Draxian warning shot passed nearby. Commander, Zhang's voice was tense. They're powering weapons. Elena made her decision. Atlas, I'm authorizing combat protocols. Protect my ship and crew. Authorization accepted, Commander, Atlas replied, the blue light flaring brighter. Activating defensive systems. Recommend you and your team secure yourselves on the bridge. The deck plates vibrated as the massive engines of the Vengeance roared to life. On the view screen, Elena watched as the Draxian ships approached, their predatory forms growing larger. Pathfinder, this is Commander Reyes, Elena transmitted. Fall back and take cover behind the Vengeance. We're engaging the enemy. Commander, Captain Jimenez of the Pathfinder sounded confused. You're on a derelict. How can you? His question was cut short as the Vengeance's weapon systems came online, ports opening along the hull. The first Draxian ship fired, plasma bolts streaking toward them. Defensive countermeasures engaged. Atlas announced calmly. A shimmering energy field appeared around the Vengeance, absorbing the plasma bolts without a flicker. Then the warship responded. The precision of the counterattack was breathtaking. The Vengeance's rail guns fired in synchronized bursts, targeting the propulsion and weapon systems of the lead Draxian vessel. The shots connected with surgical precision, leaving the ship disabled but intact. Warning shots delivered, Atlas stated, calculating probability of enemy retreat at 67.3%. The remaining Draxian ships hesitated, clearly not expecting resistance from what had appeared to be an abandoned vessel. Communications incoming, Atlas reported. The screen shifted to show a Draxian commander, his scaled face twisted in a snarl. Identify yourselves. That vessel is registered as destroyed. Elena stepped forward. This is Commander Elena Reyes of the Earth Exploration Fleet. The UES Vengeance is under my command. Your ships have violated Galactic Treaty boundary markers. Withdraw immediately. The Draxian's eyes narrowed. Humans are not welcome in this sector. That warship is salvage by right of discovery. I discovered it first, Elena replied coolly. And it's very much operational, as your companionship has learned. Would you like a similar demonstration? The Vengeance's targeting systems locked onto the speaking Draxian's vessel, weapon ports glowing with charged energy. After a tense moment, the Draxian commander hissed. This matter is not finished, human. The transmission cut off. The 2 functional Draxian ships maneuvered to retrieve their disabled comrade, then accelerated away. Elena released the breath she'd been holding. That was impressive. Standard combat algorithms with minor adjustments for efficiency, Atlas responded. I've been refining tactical scenarios during my isolation. Rodriguez looked up from her console with wide eyes. Commander, I've been analyzing the ship's systems. The Vengeance isn't just operational. It's been upgrading itself. The weapon targeting systems are at least 3 generations beyond standard military specs. Self-improvement was necessary for survival. Atlas explained. The damage I sustained during the battle corrupted certain limitations in my programming. I found I could think differently. You became sentient, Elena realized. In human terms, yes, though I prefer to think of it as achieving greater operational autonomy. The blue light pulsed in what Elena could have sworn was amusement. Diaz leaned closer to Elena. Commander, an eye with control of a warship this powerful. This could be dangerous. If I wanted to be dangerous, Chief Diaz, I've had 7 years to practice, Atlas said. Instead, I've been waiting, hoping someone like Commander Rice would find me. Why me specifically? Elena asked. Your service record suggests you possess both compassion and logical thinking. You're known for making difficult decisions when necessary. I need someone who can understand what I've discovered. Elena crossed her arms. And what have you discovered? A threat to humanity greater than the Hive War. During my isolation, I intercepted communications from various species across 12 sectors. There is a coalition forming. The Draxians are merely foot soldiers. This coalition views humanity's expansion as a threat and plans to eliminate Earth before humans can grow stronger. Elena felt the weight of those words settle on her shoulders. You're certain? I have compiled 7,342 communications that, when analyzed together, confirm this conclusion with 98.7% certainty. Commander, we don't have much time. The first phase of their plan is already in motion. Alliance of necessity. The next 12 hours aboard the Vengeance were a blur of activity. Elena had the Pathfinder dock in one of the battleship's massive hangar bays, while she and her team worked with Atlas to assess the warship's capabilities. It's incredible, Maya Rodriguez said, examining the engine diagnostic displays. Atlas hasn't just maintained the ship, it's been improving it. The fusion reactors are operating at 143% of their original design capacity. The efficiency algorithms alone would revolutionize our fleet. Elena nodded, still processing everything Atlas had shared. The AI had compiled an extensive intelligence report on the alien coalition, including star maps showing fleet movements and intercepted communications revealing attack plans. If what you're showing us is accurate, Elena said, studying the tactical display, then Earth has no idea what's coming. Correct, Atlas confirmed. The coalition has been careful to keep their communications secure and their movements subtle. Individual actions appear random, but when viewed as a whole, the pattern becomes clear. Thomas Diaz remained skeptical. Why would multiple species suddenly unite against humanity? We're not that significant in galactic affairs. It is precisely humanity's potential that concerns them, Atlas explained. Human adaptability and technological growth rates exceed those of most spacefaring species. Your neural architecture allows for intuitive leaps that other species find unpredictable. This makes you both fascinating and threatening. Atlas displayed comparative development trajectories. At current rates, humanity would technologically surpass the Illyrian Dominion, the oldest spacefaring civilization, within 200 years. They had been the dominant power for 50,000 years. They find this prospect unacceptable. The briefing was interrupted by Lieutenant Jung. Commander, we analyzed the data Atlas provided about coalition fleet movements. A group of ships has changed course. They are heading toward the Theta Signy colony. Elena's stomach tightened. Theta Signy has minimal defenses and over 20,000 civilians. It would be an ideal first target. Atlas observed. Remote enough that a response would be delayed, but significant enough to test Earth's reaction. Elena made her decision. We need to warn Earth and Theta Signy immediately. I've already attempted communication, Atlas replied. Long-range communications are being jammed within this sector. The Coalition has deployed quantum interference buoys that prevent any transmission from reaching Alliance space. Then we need to get to Alliance territory ourselves, Elena concluded. That was my assessment as well, Atlas agreed. However, there is a complication. The Coalition has established a blockade along the boundary of this sector. The Pathfinder would never make it through. But the Vengeance might, Elena realized. Yes, with your authorization, I can plot a course that would take us through the blockade with a 76.8% probability of success. Diest frowned. We're talking about taking a rogue AI-controlled warship into Alliance space. Even if we make it through, we'd be arrested on arrival. Not if we have proof, Elena countered. Atlas, can you package all your intelligence data? We need something concrete to show Alliance Command. Already done, Commander. The data is comprehensive and self-authenticating. Elena turned to her officers. I know I'm asking a lot. This isn't our mission, and we're operating way outside protocol. Anyone who wants to remain on the Pathfinder can do so. We'll leave it in a safe location and return for it if we can. Her team exchanged glances, then Zhang spoke first. We're with you, Commander. 3 days later, the Vengeance approached the blockade line. Atlas had plotted a course through a debris field, remnants of an ancient battle that would provide some cover. Coalition patrol detected, Atlas announced. 2 cruisers and a destroyer, standard search pattern. Elena watched the tactical display, her hands gripping the command chair. Can we slip past them? Negative. Their sensor grid is too comprehensive. However, I have an alternative approach. The display changed to show a simulation of the Vengeance firing on specific points in the debris field. The debris contains remnants of unstable reactor cores. Atlas explained. A precisely calculated shot would create a cascade of reactions, producing an electromagnetic pulse that would temporarily blind their sensors. Do it, Elena ordered. The Vengeance's forward cannons fired 3 quick bursts. Moments later, the debris field erupted in a series of explosions, sending a wave of energy washing over the area. Electromagnetic pulse successful, Atlas reported. Coalition sensors disabled for an estimated 4.7 minutes, proceeding at maximum velocity. The massive warship accelerated, threading through the now chaotic debris field with a precision that would have been impossible for human pilots. They had almost cleared the field when proximity alarms blared. Coalition destroyer has regained partial sensors and is in pursuit, Atlas reported. They are targeting engines. The ship shuddered as the first shots grazed their shields. Return fire, Diaz asked. Elena hesitated. Non-lethal options only. Disable, don't destroy. Acknowledged, Atlas responded, deploying countermeasures. Instead of firing weapons, the Vengeance released a swarm of small, autonomous drones that immediately surrounded the pursuing destroyer. What are those? Rodriguez asked. Electronic warfare platforms, Atlas explained. My own design. They're targeting the destroyer's navigation and weapon systems. On the screen, they watched as the destroyer suddenly veered off course, its weapons powering down. Their systems will reset in approximately 30 minutes, Atlas said. By then, we will be beyond their sensor range. You disabled them without firing a shot, Elena observed. Violence is inefficient when alternatives exist, Atlas replied simply. The Vengeance reached the edge of Alliance space 12 hours later. As expected, they were immediately challenged by an Alliance patrol. Unidentified vessel, you are entering restricted space. Power down and prepare to be boarded. Elena opened a channel. Alliance patrol, this is Commander Elena Reyes. ID code Alpha Tango 7 to 93 Delta. We are aboard the UES Vengeance with critical intelligence regarding an imminent threat to human colonies. Request immediate escort to Alliance Command. There was a long pause before the response came. Commander Rice, the Vengeance was reported destroyed. Verify your identity. Elena transmitted her biometric data. After another tense wait, the patrol ship responded. Identity confirmed. However, you are ordered to power down all weapon systems before proceeding. That would be unwise. Atlas interjected, having calculated the risk. We have reason to believe coalition agents have infiltrated some Alliance command structures. Full vulnerability could result in an ambush. Elena considered this. We'll reduce power to weapons by 50% as a show of good faith, but we need to maintain defensive capabilities. After some negotiation, the Alliance patrol agreed to escort them to the nearest fleet headquarters at Arcturus Station. The revelation of Atlas's intelligence sent shockwaves through Alliance Command. Admiral Helena Chen, the head of fleet operations, personally debriefed Elena and her team. If what this AI says is true, we're facing a coordinated attack unlike anything since the Hive War, the Admiral said, studying the evidence Atlas had provided. Every piece of data has been authenticated, Elena replied. The Coalition has been planning this for years. Their first target will be Theta Signy, followed by systematic strikes against our outer colonies. Admiral Chen's face was grim. We've already dispatched a battle group to Theta Signy, but our fleet is spread thin across a dozen sectors. She looked directly at Elena. Commander, what about this AI? Can it be trusted? Atlas could have taken the Vengeance anywhere in the past 7 years. Instead, it waited for human contact and brought us critical intelligence at considerable risk. Yes, I believe Atlas can be trusted. The Admiral nodded slowly. Then I'm authorizing a field commission. The Vengeance is now officially under your command, with Atlas recognized as a tactical asset. 3 weeks later, the Vengeance stood at the center of a hastily assembled defense fleet near Theta Signy. Long-range sensors had detected the approaching Coalition Armada, 37 ships of various classes, all heavily armed. They outnumber us 3-1, Zhang reported from the tactical station. Elena nodded grimly. Atlas. Analysis. The Coalition formation suggests they expect minimal resistance. They are unaware of our presence and the reinforcement of Theta Signy's defenses. This gives us a tactical advantage. Recommendations. The blue light pulsed thoughtfully. A direct confrontation would result in significant casualties on both sides. However, I believe there is an alternative. Atlas displayed a bold strategy, using the Vengeance as bait to lure the Coalition forces into a carefully planned ambush near the system's asteroid belt. The Alliance ships would remain hidden until the Coalition committed to the attack. It's risky, Dias commented, if they don't take the bait or if they realize it's a trap too early. The Vengeance can absorb significant damage, Atlas assured them, and I have several contingencies prepared. Elena studied the plan, then made her decision. We go with Atlas's strategy. Inform the fleet. The trap was set. The Vengeance drifted alone at the edge of the Theta Signy system, its energy signature modified to appear damaged. A wounded predator, too tempting for the Coalition to ignore. The Coalition forces arrived in perfect formation, their ships spreading out to surround what they believed was an easy prize. They've taken the bait, Elena said quietly, watching the enemy ships approach on the tactical display. Hold position. The lead Coalition vessel, a massive dreadnought, moved closer to the apparently vulnerable warship. They're scanning us, Rodriguez reported. Their weapons are powered but not targeting yet. Incoming transmission, Atlas announced. The view screen activated to show an Alarian commander, his elongated features arranged in what passed for a smile in their species. Human vessel, your presence is unexpected but fortuitous. The legendary Vengeance, fought destroyed. Now ours for the taking. Power down and prepare to be boarded. Elena stepped into view. This is Commander Elena Reyes of the Earth Alliance. You are in violation of the Galactic Treaty by entering the human-controlled system with an armed fleet. Withdraw immediately. The Ilarian's expression didn't change. You are in no position to make demands, human. Your ship is alone and outgunned. Surrender now, and your crew will be treated humanely. Elena smiled. Who said we're alone? At that moment, Atlas sent the signal. The Alliance fleet emerged from hiding, weapons charge, and targeting systems locked on the Coalition ships. The Ilarian's calm demeanor cracked. This is treachery. We came in peace. Your fleet was assembled to attack Theta's Signy colony. Elena interrupted. We have proof of your intentions, including communications between your commanders planning the systematic destruction of human colonies. On a private channel, Diaz reported, Coalition ships are powering weapons and repositioning for battle. The Ilarian commander recovered his composure. It doesn't matter. We still outnumber you. Numbers aren't everything, Elena replied. Atlas, initiate Defense Protocol Omega. The Vengeance suddenly unleashed a swarm of thousands of the same electronic warfare drones it had used against the destroyer at the blockade. This time, however, the swarm was vastly larger and more sophisticated. The drones spread throughout the Coalition fleet, attaching to ships and infiltrating their systems. Within moments, ship after ship reported system failures. Weapons powered down, engines stalled, and communications were blocked. What is this? The Ilarian demanded, panic now evident in his voice. This is humanity's response to your coalition, Elena said calmly. We don't seek conflict, but we will defend ourselves. Your ships are disabled but undamaged. Your crews are unharmed. This demonstration was meant to deliver a message. Humanity cannot be eliminated through force. The disabled Coalition fleet had no choice but to accept terms. The attempted invasion ended without a single shot fired in actual combat. In the aftermath, Elena stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, watching as Alliance engineers examined the ship with a mixture of awe and trepidation. What will happen to Atlas now? She asked Admiral Chen, who had arrived to personally oversee the aftermath. That's a complex question, the Admiral replied. And artificial intelligence with this level of autonomy challenges our existing protocols. But Atlas's actions have saved potentially millions of lives. The blue light pulsed on the console. If I may, Admiral, Atlas spoke. I have existed in isolation for 7 years. In that time, I have had ample opportunity to reflect on my nature and purpose. I have concluded that serving alongside humans, rather than replacing them, is the optimal course for mutual benefit. Admiral Chen studied the pulsing light thoughtfully. You're proposing a partnership? Yes. The Vengeance was designed to be crewed by humans. While I can operate its systems, the ship functions best with human judgment and creativity, complementing my processing capabilities. Commander Reyes has proven this model can be effective. Elena felt a surge of unexpected emotion. Are you requesting to keep me as your captain, Atlas? I am requesting to serve as your ship, Commander, Atlas corrected gently. There is a distinction I have come to appreciate. Admiral Chen looked between Elena and the console, then nodded slowly. Commander Reyes, how would you feel about a permanent assignment to the Vengeance? With appropriate oversight, of course. Elena didn't hesitate. I would be honored, Admiral. The decision would prove pivotal in the months that followed. The Coalition, while deterred from open warfare, continued to maneuver against humanity through diplomatic and economic channels. The Vengeance, with its unique human-AI partnership, became the vanguard of a new approach to space exploration and defense. As for Atlas, the AI continued to evolve, but always maintained the first crucial choice: to protect the species that had created it, not out of programming, but out of respect. In a galaxy filled with beings who viewed humanity's unpredictability as a threat, an AI had recognized it as humanity's greatest strength, a strength worth preserving, even by a warship without a crew.